They played in the Camellia Bowl, and they opened their 2024 season August 31st at home against Central Arkansas, represented today by head coach Butch Jones and players Jaylen Raynor, a sophomore quarterback from Kernersville, North Carolina, and Charles Willekes, redshirt senior linebacker from Rockford, Michigan. We'll begin with opening remarks from Coach Jones, and then we'll take questions both for Coach and the student athletes. Coach?
Well, first of all, thank you. I see the Buc-ee's cup there, so I hope that's filled up. We've had a great 2 days, so thank you for the introduction, and it's really good to see everyone. I hope everyone had a great summer. Thank you for being to this event. I know you have many places that you could be, and you chose to be here in New Orleans with us, and I say thank you. I also want to say thank you for all that you do for all of college football, Arkansas State, and the Sun Belt Conference. Really getting our fans engaged with everything that you do. I'd also like to thank Commissioner Gill for his continued leadership and vision in really developing the premier Group of 5 football conference in all of America. You know, media days kind of serve as the official kickoff to football season. If you think so, optimism is extremely high. Everybody's really, really excited. And Media Day provides you a platform, an opportunity to really speak on all the positive things that are going on within your football program. Very blessed and honored. This is my 15th Media Day, and I can tell you this, it never gets old. It's always great. You kind of have a body clock in your mind of when it's go time and when it's football season. But as we all know, as the season goes and the season progresses, nobody remembers what you speak about in July. It's the teams that can manage the natural adversities of a long football season that accumulate in the months of November and December when it really, really matters. But in terms of our overall football program at Arkansas State, I'm really, really excited about our program, our team, and our culture. We talk about respect the journey. Well, it's been quite the journey. And it's been about staying the course. It's about your principles and your values. It's staying committed to what you believe in. And over time, you start to really reap the benefits of that. We made a commitment after year one to do what we've always done, and that's be a developmental program and build it through the high school ranks and then supplement it through the changing world of college football known as the transfer portal. Last year, we were the third youngest team in all of college football. We were top 5 in the FBS in terms of most true freshmen played. But with all this being said, we still, again, the world of college football we live in today, we still have 42 newcomers under scholarship. So you can't assume anything for our entire team. And the message has been this: even with our youthfulness, we just can't be a year older. We have to be a year better as we continue to build this program. We probably have the most competitive roster we've had to date. We're still not completely balanced at all 9 position groups, but we continue to make great improvements in the 9 position areas. Our leadership is much more distributed, and really, you really find out about your football program when it comes to media days, because you have to select 2 individuals to represent their peers in their football program. And for the first time, it was a difficult decision. We had a lot of individuals that are back in Jonesboro that had earned the right to be here, but the 2 individuals here today really kind of embody our program and everything that we're about and what I just spoke about, from the youth to the experience to the growth and development. Obviously, right here to my left is our quarterback, Jaylen Raynor, from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, was a true freshman last year. He started the 3rd game of the season and made such a positive impact in our community and with our football team. And not only on the field, but off the field in the locker room. He is one of our hardest workers. He's one of our culture setters. And he has really worked extremely hard this offseason to be what I call a CEO quarterback, a quarterback that owns the football program and owns the team. He had the opportunity to participate in the Manning Passing Academy, and he was only one of 3 true freshmen from last year that were invited to attend that very prestigious event. On the other side of him is our linebacker, Willekes. He's from Rockford, Michigan. So you have Jaylen that kind of represents number one recruiting class, kind of the growth and development of building it through the high school ranks. And then Char was a walk-on. Char was a walk-on transfer player from Michigan State. Char embodies everything in our program. You want an example about how our program can transform you into being the best version of you, just speak with Char Willekes. He is what our program stands for, and it's everything that he does from Sunday through Friday that gives him an opportunity to play his best football and be his best leadership attributes come Saturday and game days. Both of these individuals are great ambassadors, not only for Arkansas State, but for college football in general. These are two players that young players should want to emulate in everything that they do. Again, it goes back to not wavering and believing in the process, that journey, 2 wins, 3 wins, then 6 wins. There's only 6 other programs that show that type of improvement in year 3. But part of this journey is we talk about playing to a standard. The standard is the standard. And the big part of our standard is our culture. We take great pride in it. We work on it year-round. We pour into our culture. And everything is about connection as a football team. Everything is about connectivity, and we have an extremely connected football team. That's one of our edges, and a team that has collective character. There's many areas, however, for growth and improvement as we continue to grow and develop. You know, I've always said this, is you really don't find out about the true identity of your football team till usually after Game 3. Game 3 is really where your true identity as a football team kind of reveals itself. But there's a lot of room from growth and development, from situational football to fundamental discipline to overall football intelligence. But I can tell you this, is last year our players were finally able to experience and finally able to really understand and feel what winning football looks like in terms of the investment that it takes, the consistency on a day in and day out basis that it takes. It's an honor and a privilege to be the head football coach at Arkansas State and to be a part of the Sun Belt Conference. If you look at it, we had to completely rebuild a program from ground zero. When I say ground zero, and everyone close to our program understands that. Not only do you have to rebuild a football program, that's a challenge of it in and of itself, but you had to do it in the Sun Belt Conference, and we came in, there was a lot of established football programs in our conference. And so I have a tremendous amount of respect that goes into playing week in and week out in this conference. You got to have the work ethic, the preparation, the toughness, the resolve, the resiliency, and you have to have a maturity about yourself. And that just gives you an opportunity to compete on Saturdays in this great conference. There's no better program in America in terms of a conference structure in the Sun Belt. If you just look at the fact check or the stats with 12 bowl season participants, that is truly remarkable, especially when you're trying to build a program. And then you look at our bowl winning percentage, just to say a few of those things. We're exceptionally proud of being in New Orleans, home of the captain of the New Orleans Saints, Demario Davis. He was also the MVP of the Pro Bowl. Spoke with him a couple days ago, and excited to kind of be in his neck of the woods. And then in closing, I would like to say this. I'm excited for the entire media. I'm excited for all of college football fan bases to experience Nick Saban. I think you can already see he's making his mark in college football with the SEC Media Days and the 26 appearances that he has to make on ESPN. And I think he's going to be a great ambassador of the game. I think the University of Alabama did a tremendous thing of naming the field and Bryant Denny after him. And he means a lot to me personally. And I really respect our relationship. I respect my 3 years in Tuscaloosa. I respect the responsibilities that he had given me. And so, again, I'm excited for the entire world to see on a weekly basis what Nick Saban is all about. So with that, I'll answer any questions y'all may have.
We will open the floor now for questions, both for Coach and the student athletes. We ask again, media members in attendance, please raise your hand for questions. A microphone will be brought to you. And for those of you joining us on Zoom, please remain on mute. Type your questions into the chat, and we'll read them here in the room.
Thomas Terry with KTSW Sports back here. This question is actually for all three of you. You have an opportunity in week 3 to play against the defending national champions. Talk about what that really means for you all and how excited you all for that opportunity.
Well, I think the key to us is if you look at our entire schedule, it's a great challenge. And we've talked about having to start fast and finish strong. And that's kind of a mindset. And, it's a week-to-week season. You got to take it one opportunity at a time. Right now, not to sound like coach speak, but our focus is on practice number 1 and winning that day. Obviously, it's a great platform. It's a great challenge. It's kind of special for me. I grew up in the state of Michigan. I know all about the University of Michigan and what it stands for. Have a lot of friends on the coaching staff. The president of the University of Michigan was our chancellor at the University of Cincinnati. We're very close when I was there. So there's a lot of parallels, but I think for us, every opportunity you get to perform, whether it's Michigan, whether it's Central Arkansas, whether it's South Alabama, whether it's Troy, whether it's Monroe, whether it's Louisiana, it's a great opportunity to compete and win football games.
So along with our physical training, we do a lot of mental training with our strength staff, and a word we learned is called arete, which means the best version of yourself from moment to moment. So that's kind of a good mindset, I would say, going week to week, focusing really on moment to moment rather than ahead, so you can be 100% where your feet are rather than stressing about something you can't control right then. So then if you're where your feet are, you can give 100% focus to that moment.
Yeah, they both said it beautifully. I mean, you can only take it week to week. You can't put too much emphasis on really any individual game. As Coach Jones said, I'm also from Michigan, though, so that'll be a cool experience. But, no, you can't take anything other than just the individual game week to week.
I think to go back on your question is we got to be able to take, you're a byproduct of your experiences. That's what makes you who you are. So we have to be able to take the 3 years of what we've experienced. Obviously for Jaylen it's been 1 year, but for Char it's been the same. It's been 3 years. How can we apply it and moving forward to this season and learn from it? I knew going into the season last year, to give you a great story about our culture, is I knew the University of Oklahoma was going to be an extremely talented football team because you never know. All the preseason rankings and all that is really based on what last year's team did. But you can transcend, you can transform, whatever word you want to use it, to really change your football program. And I knew that they were going to be a really good football team. Well, we experienced after the first game that they were a really good football team. And to be honest with you, these guys would tell you we got embarrassed. And so you're sitting there, and it didn't start off the way you wanted it to. And so we're sitting in a staff meeting come Monday, and the coaches say, "Coach, do you know what happened Saturday night?" And I'm like, "No." So they said, "You have no idea?" I said, "No." Well, we get back to Jonesboro about 9:30, and these individuals with some of our other leaders call a team meeting, but it's not a team meeting. It's a team meeting in the weight room. And they did a players-only lift from 9:30 to 11:30. And when they did that, I knew our culture had kicked in. And then I get a Big Ten coach call me on Tuesday. He's like, "Butch, I watch your press conferences every week, and I wanted to see how you handled that situation." And I told him about what had happened. He goes, "You just won. Your program just won because your culture now is in place." And he was exactly right. As the season progressed, you could see our culture get stronger, stronger, and stronger.
Emmanuel Pappas, Sunbelt Conference. Coach Jones, wanted to ask, last year, of course, you mentioned in your opening statement that it was tradition for you and your family to do something fun at the last week of summer, and last year was actually one of your sons getting married. So curious what you guys did this year.
Well, we kind of had a boring summer. My son got married last year in Knoxville, so that was exciting. We always go back to Michigan, but this year we just decided to stay home. And then I got a phone call from all our friends in Tuscaloosa and said, "You need to come back for one weekend." So we actually spent our last weekend with a lot of the coaching staff members in Tuscaloosa, kind of relaxed. And it was kind of a fast summer. I think, as we all know, the summer continues to get faster and faster and faster. I think that's a byproduct of June, of how the month of June has changed. But we had a relatively quiet summer, so thank you for asking. That's good memory.
Kevin Foote, Acadiana Advocate. Coach, we saw the impact that Jaylen had last season on your team and offense, and you've already described it. What's the next level for him this season?
Well, I think, continuing to be a CO quarterback and kind of learn from everything. I think it all starts with your pre-snap reads, your post-snap reads, the ability to make the layup throws, the wide-open receivers, throwing with his feet. All the little things that go into it, continuing to manage the clock situations, being in control, end of the half, end of the game type scenarios and situations, and just continuing to elevate his play. I'm really excited about our quarterback room. We also bring in a transfer that started 6 games at the University of Central Florida in Timmy McClain, and then we have a very highly recruited quarterback out of the Mobile area in Alabama, and Josh Flowers. And so I'm really excited about that room, and it's been really encouraging for me to see all these 3 individuals really work well together and form a special bond in that quarterback room.
Charles McCary with KIT in Jonesboro. This question is for the players. College Football 25 just came out. Have you guys played it yet? What do you think about your ratings? Who's the best in the locker room?
So for me, I'm undefeated, haven't lost to anybody yet. Don't plan on losing either. And I played with us the first game, beat my roommate. He had Oregon. But it's super fun. It's super cool to see yourself on the game. It's like something you dream of as a kid. But just seeing your name already in the game, you don't have to create the player like on Madden or something. It's just a dream come true.
Yeah, being in the game obviously is awesome. Growing up, you're playing the game, and now we're older and we're in the game. I have heard it's word around the locker room that there's an asterisk on your winning streak, so I don't know about that. But Justin Parks claims he's the best on the team, but we have yet to see about that.
That may be a good team deal to do during training camp, is maybe Justin Parks versus Jaylen Raynor.
That's fine. I'm ready to roll.
Got a question from Zoom for Coach and also for Charles and Jaylen, since you are among this number. Even in the days of portal, there's one preseason magazine depth chart that has you with 15 returning starters. How much of an advantage is that in these days?
Well, I do think it's an advantage from an experience standpoint. I think in today's world of the evolution of rosters, the more players you can have on your roster that have been through your culture helps. I think our older players have done a great job, whether it's been our incoming freshman class of 24 or our transfer portal individuals. And to their credit as well, they understood our culture because of recruiting. Our players are very involved in recruiting, so I think that's helped. But I think it gets back to that analogy that I spoke about earlier, is we just now can't be a year older, we have to be a year better.
Fellow college football dogs and Sunbelt Syndicate. Jaylen, I can't help but look up on that stage and see that chain shining. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
So it says J-Way, which is my nickname to many of my teammates and some of my friends at home. And then I got it from Scooby the Jeweler. He does a lot of athletes in college and NFL and things like that. And then I wear number 1, of course. So, yeah.
Jaylen, just wanted to get your thoughts on kind of last year, of course, going through your freshman season. Was there a particular moment that you felt like you kind of settled into more of a comfort zone? And what are some of the things that you've been looking at and emphasizing this offseason as you go into your sophomore year?
Definitely a highlight of my first year playing was the Southern Miss game, which was my first start. Just that game, the atmosphere was crazy. The support from the teammates. It was just a crazy, unreal experience. And then really just looking back on last year, seeing all the things that I can fix and how much better I can be, it gets me so excited. Just being able to put the ball in play, take what the defense gives me, not always trying to take the top off the defense, but just get the playmakers the ball, take the stress off my O-line to give them confidence and really just score some touchdowns, really.
We got a question for Coach here. You mentioned your transition, working through the program. How have you seen this league transition while you've been doing that with the Red Wolves?
Well, I think I've been one of the biggest ambassadors for the Sun Belt Conference. And whether it was Tennessee or Alabama, we competed against Sun Belt opponents. And if you just take a stroll down memory lane, 5-6 years ago, it was named the Fun Belt. And they took pride in outscoring individuals 52-51. And I remember watching the video, and it was like video games. And then you look at the Sun Belt today. First of all, the parity from top to bottom. I think it rivals any conference in America from the opponents from top to bottom. I think our administrations and our universities deserve a lot of credit. I think they've made tremendous commitments to the football programs in terms of facilities, in terms of we have great coaches. There are tremendous coaches in this conference. We have great players, and I think the proximity of where a lot of these institutions are lends itself for players in the transfer portal of quote-unquote coming back home. And then I think a commitment to playing winning football on defense. I think that has changed as well. You look at Troy, they've been back-to-back conference champions, and I want to say they've been number one in total defense those last 2 years. So I just think the whole philosophy of the conference has completely changed. I think when you look at this event, I look at everything, how is everything done? Is it done in a first-class manner? You look at spring meetings. It's held in Sandustin. Well, that's where we held our SEC meetings. You look at the media day. You look at the turnout. You look at the excitement that our fan bases have. I think it's something to really be proud of. So you're talking to probably one of the top biggest fans of the Sun Belt Conference and what it stands for. And again, I can't say enough about Commissioner Gill. I can't say enough about the entire Sun Belt Conference individuals and their personnel and just the first class and what they do. I know Sark bragged a little bit about the police escort. We didn't have a police escort, but the way they drive us around, the way we go over to the Superdome, being in the TV studio, it's something you can never take for granted because it's a special conference.
With no more questions from the floor,
and
Coach?
Who else? The mediator has a Buc-ee's cup. Like, you can't get any better than that.
That was a present from the grandkids. So. With no more questions on the floor, Coach, Jaylen, Charles, we appreciate you being here. Thank you so much, and good luck to you this season.
Thank you, and Wolves up.
Thank you.
We'll be back in 7 minutes with the Jaguars of